And she's Sissy.
And we're Chrissy and Sissy. Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. It is I, it is me, it is Sissy, it is Chrissy, it's she, it's us. We're here for it is New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
This is New Year's Eve. You Sunday school people know what I'm talking about. We know we start a new Sunday school year. September. Let's see.
It will be the first Sunday in September.
The first Sunday in September. We know this is the lesson for August 29th, you all. So after Tuesday, that's August 31st. Then we're going to have September 1st. And then September 5th would be the new lesson of the new Sunday school year, you guys. And I've enjoyed these Sunday school lessons. It's this last quarter just about Paul, and it's just been amazing. I love Sunday school because some people may say, oh, we say the same, or we go over the same scriptures and stories all the time, but I can say in these Sunday school lessons, and I think it just fit even before the pandemic even started, or during the pandemic as the new Sunday school year started. The writers really, we know they put a lot into studying because not so much proofreading. But they put a lot into it, and we know this because these were lessons that we have not seen before.
Right.
And a little closing thoughts on just the Sunday school and how Sunday school is so important. So I have this tickle in my throat from, I think, inhaling some fumes, some Lysol, right, from Friday, and I woke up with it on Saturday, did some salt water and some echinacea and elderberry tea, right? And then my friend was like, yeah, that makes you feel better. And I said, I wonder who came up with that. Gargle with salt, warm water. Y'all know the deal, if you know. And it was like, my friend was like, it's just a home remedy. And what I said, this reminded me, I said, I wonder who passed it all down through the generations to know to do that. And I said, you know what? We learned in Sunday school back in 2019, really 2018, 2019, that everything that we need is in the earth. Mm-hmm. So that's how amazing Sunday school is that I was like, everything we need is in the earth. And y'all know me, I'm not the medicine type person. I am a natural type person. I would rather sweat a cold out, get in some sun, do everything that's natural that God did. Because I think about, if you would think biblical days and even ancient times, they felt sick. And they found natural remedies for us. And we know now we have medicines, medicines is nothing but man-made elements and natural elements all mixed together. But now, anything that we need is literally in the earth. Yeah, so we're going to close this lesson.
About all of that.
We're talking about all of that, right? Because Chrissy said this lesson may not be as long as they talk as long, but not be as long. But today our lesson is Hope Eternal. And not to get confused, young people, with the Eternals that's coming out with Marvel Studios, because that is a movie coming out, based off the comic. This is Hope Eternal. Who we have hope in? Jesus Christ. Because he paid the ultimate price. He conquered death, yeah.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about how Paul, in planting these churches, throughout, well, I always say Europe, but throughout Europe, throughout Rome, just planting all these churches with all the ends, the Corinthians, everybody, Philippians, everybody. He's planting all these churches. Mm-hmm. And let's see what he has the Church of Corinth and all that stuff. But let's see what he has to say about when you feel like giving up, when ministry gets hard, when you have physical, as the lesson went out, but may I say, mental pains, going through pain and suffering. What do we do? Who can we pull our strength from? All right, sis, go ahead.
All right, you all. Hey. All right, so one thing that Paul stresses in this lesson, it talks about that churching is not easy. And we find out in this lesson that some of the requirements for doing ministry is patience, enduring, and one that I just really love is just having a strong prayer life, and just having your relationship with God just got to be on fleek. Do y'all say fleek anymore? I don't know. But it's just got to be tight. You got to make sure that your relationship with God is sturdy. Pray for patience, pray for endurance, and knowing that all things work together for the good. Even when it does not seem like you're going to make it. The topic of our Sunday school lesson, hope eternal. My hope is in Jesus. What is my hope? My hope is knowing that in the end, I'm going to win. My hope is knowing that I already have the victory. My hope is knowing that things are not as they seem. What I thought about when I was reading this lesson and just thinking about Paul passed us in our earth suit, just passing through, trying to get over to the other side. I like to think about Jesus. When Jesus was born, he was born for a purpose. And it was kind of like, if you just like follow the road map, you will notice, and you will even see that Jesus came up against obstacles. There was people that did not believe in him. There were people trying to influence him to do differently. Like when the children would come up to him, they would try to push the children back. It would be, suffer little children to come unto me. Leave them alone. Let them come to me. Don't push the children away. And that's like one of my, since you already know. I don't know why that scripture came to me, because that's one of my pet peeves in the church, is trying to silence the children. But anyway, we're talking about hope eternal. Knowing that in life, as we move through things, that when this earthly world is over, when it's finally our time and God calls us home, knowing that on the other side, that we're going to live a life of peace. We're going to just worship and just praise him all the time. You know, a lot of people say that, you know, when I die, I want to have a talk with old lady Eve. I want to have a talk with this. I want to talk to Sarah. I want to talk to this one. But for me, as the song say, all of that is fine, well, and good. But I just want to see Jesus. It doesn't matter about anything else to me. I mean, that's just my thing. I just want to just be able to sit at his feet and just worship him and just thank him for dying for me when I was not worthy. And even now, when I don't have it right all the time, he yet loves me. I just want to be able to, face to face, be able to say thank you. And then I think, and then I wonder, when he calls me home, am I going to remember the things that I endured in this life? Is that even going to matter to me anymore? I like to think about that as well. That's a question. I think about that. And I just have so much of this lesson has brought out. One thing that I think I'm going to write, sis, is I want to write how to explain death to little ones from a Christian standpoint. How to explain it to them. Because a lot of times we're afraid of dying. And are we afraid of dying? These are just questions for you to think about. Are we afraid of dying because of how we live our life? Or are we afraid to die because we don't know what's on the other side? Why are we afraid of dying when the scripture has said to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord? And if you've lived your life in relationship with him, what's the fear? That's just a thought that I had.
Wow, you really brought up some really, really points that we need to ponder over, because
and Mary pondered all these things in her heart.
And it's like when I even think about it, and when people are ill, and we, you know, and I think it's more so like we don't want death to win. Like, it's not about dying, it's how we die. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really an assurance when somebody just peacefully goes, rather than somebody is sick. But we even know then that I mean, we already got the victory, because if we lived our life accordingly, if we were sick on earth, we're not sick anymore, and that pain and suffering is not there. We as believers, we find hope and reassurance in the fact that we have a heavenly home.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this earlier in the week, and I think it had to do with one of the Bible band lessons, and then just about confidence, and just going. I kind of even said something like, I'm living my life. You know, Mary, I'm living my life so I can live again. I'm living my life because I have a place that He's been preparing for thousands. You know, when He's been preparing a place for us. From when man fell, He's been preparing. They couldn't live right in the Garden of Eden. He's been preparing a place for me. You guys, like I said this at the end of the lesson, it took 6 months to build the house that I'm in now. And, you know, the paperwork and everything. So, and I love my house. I think, oh, it's nice, but how much? I got a mansion waiting for me. Look, it's no more. Mama got her own room. I have my own room. No, mansion. I can walk across. If you know, y'all know I'm just joking, but yes, we have. When I talk about it, I get excited, and we have that. That's why. I mean, I think I heard somebody say one time, like, you know, when it comes to doing ministry, you know, you do what you're called, but it's not like, you know, if somebody wants me to usher and I choose not to usher, like, oh no, I'm going to hell. No, you know. So I was thinking, I was kind of thinking about
you
that.
Know
like,
you was wrong for not ushering.
Yeah, you know you was wrong for not doing that. You know, you was supposed to usher. No, I wasn't called to usher. Or just because I'm not doing anything within the confines of the 4 walls or 8 walls of the church.
But people, I'm just going to interject because she brought that up.
But I have, hold on, because they probably, let me not leave you out there. But that we have hope in eternal, and knowing that I'm doing what, hey, like they were church planted. It gets hard. This is what they were called to do, the apostles, and the people that they chose were called to do. But, you know, through all the ridicule, through all, even the deaths that they went through, that, you know, what was the prize that they had waiting on the other side of that? And that was the strength, the power that they drew from to keep going. Because we all know, I mean, we're going to, you know, go on to glory. We're going to die one day, okay? And like Sis said, not being afraid of that. And you really did bring up a good point to ponder. But go ahead, Sis. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Well, I was just going to say, in my calm, respectful voice, and I don't want to, I guess I better not say, because I don't want to discourage the young people from working in the church. It's awesome to work in ministry, to learn things, to glean as much information as you can. However, not getting caught up, and sometimes ministry, or I'm not going to say ministry, I'm going to say church, the building, church, you have to be careful because you can get so caught up in that, just like you could get so caught up in the things of the world that you lose focus on what God has called you to do. Why am I ushering? Why am I singing in the choir? Why am I a part of the youth department? What is my purpose? Am I here just so people can see that I just got my navy blue suit out of the cleaner so that I can usher Sunday, so they can see, so they can say, oh, you look so good? Or am I here? So am I here so that when people enter into the house of the Lord, that they may be greeted with a smile and welcome, so that they will want to come and be a part of the ministry, want to be a part of the kingdom of God. Because you know, like the ushers are like the first, it's like, really, can I say, it's like the face of church for people that have not been to church before. Like if the young people come in,
not
and
even before, just even if you just
changing church, if you've been hurt in another church and you're coming somewhere else, the ushers are like the face of the ministry. They're like the first face.
Yes, they really are.
Yeah, they're like the first face that you see before you see the pastor, before you see that's like the face
That's who
of
you
it.
go. That's who you're going to meet, because the word is not going to come maybe 30 minutes later at least.
Right.
My experience in visiting churches before in the past, it was as simple as turn your lights on if this is your first time. I said,
Right.
well, let me turn my lights on. Or they go be extra, like they ain't never had nobody in the church before.
Right.
Turn it on. And then from the parking attendant, and this could be done at any church, the parking attendant going from there to, hey, this is our first time, having somebody pass me along, and then, hey, how are you doing? Or even, but I would even say, I'm sorry I interjected, but
No, you're good.
they're the face of the church, but then I also take it as account of everyone, because if you're running late and there's a visitor right to you, I remember I was visiting a church, and I'm sorry we kind of got off topic for a second,
Yeah,
but
it's okay.
it just, this is how Sunday school goes sometimes. I remember coming to a church, raining, it was like on a weekday, and I visited because I've seen it so much, and I visited the church, and I knew people there, and I had to go use the restroom, but I was like, oh, I'm afraid to ask go to the restroom, they in the middle of service, and then I didn't know how to get there, right? So basically, long story short, the restroom, you had to go to the sanctuary and go to the back to go to the restroom. But there was an outdoor entrance. Keep in mind, it's raining. This member walked in, and I asked her, and that's what she explained to me about the restroom. And she was like, just do this. Because she could tell in my face, I did not want to go up the front to the church and go like this. She was like, come on, let me just walk you over there. Something as simple as that. And then once I got in there and used the restroom, the security guard that's by the door that goes outside says, hey, you young lady, don't go back through there. It'll be fine if you go through this. And like I tell you, it was fine. I went through the front of the church, just eased on to the side, and it was fine. It wasn't no big deal or something made of it. So just in that and saying that, ministry, because I don't know what that security guard was going through. He probably was like, oh, it's a late night. But I couldn't tell. That member who was late, who wasn't even an usher, who just was there with me, because you never know who are you affecting to possibly join the ministry, or who's coming off the street. And see, the thing is, I know the praise and worship leader who can sing the house down, but I wasn't treated, they don't even know I know her, but I wasn't even treated like, because some people may know I know her because I can't hear her speak. They may go, oh, that's the praise and worship leader friend or guest or something. Let me treat her nice. They don't even know that, or they probably do. I don't know. They were just still nice, but just everyone in ministry. That's why it's important for us to have this great attitude. Like if we're saved, we should be walking around head hung down low. The lesson is telling us that, we draw our power from someone. We draw our strength. We draw our hope. Everything from this one source, right? So if I'm connected to him, then people should look at my life or look at me and go, oh, like I look at the ushers. I look at the ushers that I go to church with, and how they go through all the little stuff here and there, and they take a lot because they don't want, hey, don't put the gum in your mouth, hey, da-da-da-da-da. And they still get up every Sunday and they push through and they do it, or every Wednesday and push through.
That's
enduring. They endure. Sorry, yeah, we got off that, but yeah.
But getting out, although we kind of got off topic, but really did not get off topic, because you're still talking about hope eternal, talking about that you're going to have to go through things, you're going to have to endure things, you're going to encounter people that may not all the time be the mirror that reflects the image of Christ. They may have an off day, but with you knowing who and whose you are, sometimes you have to say, okay, I'm not gonna let my first impression of Sister Lucy affects my relationship with God, because this is what we do as people. Sometimes we get in flesh and we say, well, I went to that church and they talked to me, I'm just not going to church anymore. Don't allow your experience with one place to affect you going to another place, or even to affect you going back to that place, because sometimes you can go back And then they would say, you know what, I'm glad you came back because I just wanted to just pull you to the side. I just wanted to just apologize to you. The last time you was here, I just feel like that I was kind of rude to you. And I'm sorry. I was just going through something personal and I was just out of like, sometimes,
I've done that before when somebody visited the church and I probably maybe look solemn and then I just say the spirit was like, you know, I was in a good predicament where I could text that person and go, hey, sorry I couldn't speak to you today. So yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so sometimes, but hope eternal, knowing what we are, knowing the purpose of why we're living. Why do we have hope in Jesus? Why are we living the way that we're living?
Why are we putting up with what we're going through?
Why are we putting up with it? Yeah. Even in knowing, and people always say, you know, if you get a cold or if whatever happened to you, if you get sick, if you get COVID, oh, you mustn't pay your tithe. No, I'm living in a man suit. I'm living in this earthly vessel, and this earthly vessel is going to contract certain things if I did not. I'm not up on my elderberry. I'm not up on this. I'm not up on that. I'm not the health, whatever that I'm supposed to be. I'm not being a good steward of my body all the time because chocolate tastes good because I want to eat a pint of ice cream. You know, whatever. That's fine. No worries. You know, I like to think, thickness is good. But just knowing who and whose you are and living your life accordingly so that when that time does come, that you will be prepared to get out of here. You will be prepared to go on to meet the Lord. Because the last thing that you want to do is go through all this stuff, have patience, endure all things, love in spite of, and then to let something small and minute make you miss it. So I've gone through all this. I've beat cancer. I've beat diabetes. I've beat breast cancer. I've done this. I've done that. And then to still have some type of doubt and unbelief and all of that in your heart. So just knowing whose and whose you are. Knowing that one day this is all going to be over. And how people have treated you doesn't even matter anymore. Doesn't even matter anymore. Let me do can I do my invasion of the body snatcher thing? Let me tell y'all about that. People think, and this is just for a young person that thinks that when the rapture takes place, that if they're not living their life accordingly, and they come home, that their mom is just going to be missing and she's just not going to be there. You're going to be able to put her picture on a poster or call the police and say, my mom's been missing for 3 or 4 days. That's not what's going to happen. Because it's an earthly suit and this flesh is not going to heaven. When the rapture takes place, it's going to be wherever I am. If I'm driving, if I'm standing in the line at Walmart, if I finally got the truck of my dreams, and if I'm driving that truck, and the rapture takes place, it's gonna be like, shoot, and my body is gonna drop. I'm gonna crash, I'm gonna hit a tree, but I'm not gonna be there. It's gonna be, shoot, and my body's gonna drop. If you're walking, if sis is teaching class, the rapture takes place, it's gonna be, shoot, my body, it's not going to be enough EMAs, it's not going to be enough funeral homes, it's not going to be enough caskets. It's going to be like massive chaos for the world. So do I want to be here to experience that? No, I want to be gone. I want to be one of the ones that's going to be caught up in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, because immediately it's going to be chaos. It's not going to be right. But I'm going to work. I want to be gone. I either want to be gone before then, or I want him to just snatch me by my little spirit, reach his hand straight down through the top of my head, and just snatch me out of here. So lipo and stomach tuck and all of that going to be relevant at that moment.
All right, you guys. All right, you guys. Yeah, because that may be something that even say, well, I'm going to just get my life right. And then if the rapture comes, I'm going to wait till I get older. Or people, you know, the saints been saying, oh, it's time. You know, you're hearing that. Well, I'm going to just wait for the rapture because I'm going to have time to get my life together. And then I just go. So I wait till that. But you just never know. You never know when the time, the date. No man knows the day or the hour, right? On that note, we hope you all have enjoyed this Sunday school lesson. Yeah, we went out with a bang with the last lesson of the Sunday school year. Yeah, we did. I feel like we went out a bang. We gave y'all some good content, some long content. So we hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, morning, noon, or night, or whenever you're watching this, you guys. And if nothing else be said, since you can close that book and I'll close my iPad. That's it for
this book.
This book this year.
It'll
or
be on
Sunday school
eBay.
lesson.
On eBay, $39.95. Y'all can have it.
All right, you guys. On that note, don't stop here. We wish you all a great and happy studying.
Happy studying.